Welcome to this edition of Silver Sneakers Boom Muscle. Today I was going to go over some speed and agility drills, some muscle strengthening, but also, if you recall, a few months ago I saw an orthopedic surgeon about my shoulders. He determined that at least a couple of my important rotator cuff tendons were ruptured and unrepairable. So I've been trying to strengthen my shoulders doing various exercises, and I was going to see how I'm doing as far as some of those tests for strength. Oops. One activity I like to do to warm up is to take a ball of any size and do what you might consider like a soccer drill. I've never actually played soccer, at least not formally, so I'm not particularly good at it, but it's a good warm up. You want to start off slow with your ball and have a room where I can just kick it, run after the ball, kick it, and due to obstacles in the room, it's unpredictable where it's going to go. So you can do intervals of this, try and increase your speed and agility, get a little bit shorter breath. It's a fun activity. I think it improves running, cardiovascular fitness, agility, balance, reactivity, which are all important skills that if we ignore, we lose as we progress in our years. A few months ago, I went through a demonstration showing my strength or lack of it in my shoulder press. So I'm going to repeat that today to see what I am capable of at this point. Starting with 3 pounds, the shoulder is weaker than the left. I like to do one arm at a time. I think it improves core stability even while sitting and allows the arm that's exercised a little bit of rest. Let's go to 5. Struggling a little bit on that. This one seems pretty easy. 6. 8. So I'm going to assist on 8 with my other arm. more shoulder release. And 12. Can't even manage 12. Despite my efforts, really haven't increased the strength in that right shoulder, even for several months. Need to start trying to identify if I have a specific weakness in other muscles that can help me with my rotator cuff deficiency, get my shoulder stronger. So I'm going to work on that for about the next few months. One thing to focus on maybe is the rear aspect of my deltoid, which is involved in shoulder extensions such as this, some of the external rotation, in abduction. Pretty strong on things like shrugs, lat pulls. So my anterior deltoids, my lats, even my biceps are pretty strong. Although I am missing tendons on both biceps, you can see you get these Popeye arms, which isn't a good thing. It's part of the attachment is gone on each side. Ultimate therapy for it, I've been told by an orthopedic surgeon, is a shoulder replacement, joint replacement. I'm not certain that would improve strength. It would bypass the rotator cuff, but I still have muscle deficiencies, so I need to work on. Well, the result of that test is pretty disappointing, in that I really haven't gained any significant strength in that seated overhead press, still around 10 pounds or so, despite months of rotator cuff rehabilitation exercises and trying to strengthen my whole shoulder girdle. So I looked into alternatives, things such as a shoulder replacement surgery. Its indications are generally for chronic, moderately severe pain and dysfunction due to arthritis or other conditions, or for unrepairable rotator cuff. It's a big surgery. Recovery can take a few months, but the most disappointing thing about it was that there's generally a lifetime restriction on how much weight you can lift overhead, 30 pounds or less. And for me, that's something I really don't want to restrict at this point. I can do an overhead press using both arms, 60, 80 pounds or more, incline press quite a bit. So I want to try and continue to rehabilitate my shoulders as best as possible. I think the first thing to do is try and identify where I might have a particular weakness. So to undergo these testings, I've set up a couple of bands, different strengths. Orange is medium, yellow's pretty light. Combine the two of them, just a standard chest press. Really no problem there. Change the angle, incline press. Increase the resistance by stepping away. No problem. You already know with overhead. Bit of a stretch or strain there. Other side. A little bit stronger. Turn you around. Reduce resistance. So a little bit weak on the high row. Reverse fly. Not too bad. Let's try this where take the lighter band and lift out to the side, a little bit forward, up to about 45 degrees. Supinate that bit of weakness there. And we can try a kickback and shoulder extension. So from the band exercises, I would say the areas I'm most weak on would be my posterior deltoids, and of course the rotator cuff. So my plan over the next few months is to work on those. To gain strength, you want to lift heavy with a low number of repetitions. In weightlifting, there's sort of three different strategies for muscle hypertrophy. Get bigger muscles, you look better at the beach. You want to do a number of sets, somewhere between 10 and 15 repetitions. Generally getting somewhat fatigued, but not actually having true muscle failure at the end of the number of repetitions. For muscle endurance, you want to lift more than that, sometimes 20, 30, or even more repetitions. That can sometimes take up to 30 seconds or longer. So you're starting to get into that almost cardiovascular training for muscles. To gain strength, most experts would recommend a heavy weight lifted 3 to 5 times, maybe a number of sets, trying to reach muscle failure by the last of those repetitions. There's a risk to it, particularly in this older population. You have tendon rupture. Again, your tendons get weaker as we reach our senior years. So pushing yourself hard at those levels, it runs a risk. So you do have to be cautious, go very slowly. Don't try and do maximal lifts to start, but do start increasing the weight. So I'm going to be doing that. Changing some of my routine from my typical 10 repetitions, 3 sets, to heavier weights for fewer repetitions. In Silver Sneakers Boom Muscle, we typically do at least 15 repetitions, so it's sort of in that second category of muscle hypertrophy, trying to maintain muscle mass, but not necessarily trying to increase strength. So I would caution you that you should check with your medical provider if they think that it's safe for you to engage in muscle strengthening activity, which can be high intensity, as opposed to these more endurance focused workouts. I've shown this display before of what I have available at this facility. I have a number of medicine balls, all kinds of different weights, different sizes, dumbbells, TRX straps, bands. In other parts, there's free weights, there's machines, weight machines. So really have access to a whole bunch of different devices and weights to pursue this. To demonstrate, I'm going to start off with 20-pound dumbbells, doing single arm curls. This is 10 repetitions. So to continue, I want to increase the weight. Going up to 25s. That was pretty challenging. Left side's a bit stronger. So when you lift these heavier weights, you want to maintain excellent form and not cheat by like trying to muscle it up using momentum. Good form to do what you can do. Let's see how we do with the medicine ball clean and press. So I've got a 30-pound ball here. Do a squat up to the chest, overhead. Another aspect of trying to increase muscle strength with weightlifting is to increase the rest between sets. Some people would say at least 2 minutes. I like to rest long enough to where I feel I have recovered my breathing, my heart rate is lowered, let's say below 100 or so, and feel ready to give a maximum exertion for the next set. So I'm moving to a 35-pound medicine ball. What I like about the clean and press with medicine ball is it's a full body exercise and replicates our fundamental movement of squat and lift overhead. So we can start with this. You want to make sure you keep your back neutral. For the squat part, let your hips go back first. Still able to do 10 repetitions, so I'm not quite hitting that true muscle strengthening range. So take a couple minutes rest and we'll come back with a heavier weight. For this final set, I'm going to go with a 45-pound medicine ball. If this still isn't enough, I'm going to have to switch to free weights. Standard Olympic bar is 45 pounds, so I would start adding weights to that. Okay. Okay, so that was pretty good. Should only try muscle strengthening exercises with at least a day of rest between. Sometimes a split of 2 or 3 days is good too, or doing like upper body presses, upper body pulls, and lower body legs again allowing for plenty of rest and recovery. Hope you enjoyed this video and hope to see you again.